Concerns aren't going away about China's economy, prompting it to cut its interest rates for the fourth time since November. Chancellor George Osborne says Britain's economy isn't immune, but it's in good shape to survive Asia's volatility.
The Chinese government have got to try and make their reforms, which they've talked about. What can we do in Britain? We can go on trading with China, that's going to help everyone, but we're also got to put our own house in order. We've been doing that over recent years, and so we're much better prepared than we would have been a few years ago for this kind of shock.
With me now is finance expert Jasmine Birtles. He would say that, wouldn't he, Jasmine? Is he right that we have some immunity, if not total immunity, from this?
Well, as you say, yes, he would say it, and he's right to say it. You know, he's right to calm fears here. There's a certain amount that he can control, but we live in a global market. So what happens in China genuinely does affect us in all sorts of ways. And as we've seen, it affects all the markets across the globe. It's
the world's second biggest economy. They've cut their interest rates for the fourth time, as we said there, recently. Is it going to have an effect on our own interest rates? Because there's been talk of the base rate going up quite soon.
Yes, and Mark Carney effectively said, you know, all things being equal, I want to put interest rates up. But he was saying that with one eye on China, among other things, because if things do continue to be volatile, and they seem to be coming up at the moment, don't know how long they're going to stay that way. If they do create a volatility, if that affects our business, if it affects employment, wages, all of this, then he won't be able really to put up interest rates as soon as he would like to.
And what are the effects on our pockets here? For example, we buy a lot of Chinese-made goods. Does that mean they're going to get more expensive? Does it mean we could perhaps manufacture more ourselves?
Well, you know, I think we could always manufacture more ourselves, but I think the idea really is for China to try. What China's trying to do is to devalue its currency a bit, so that actually their goods are cheaper, so that we buy more. What the global markets are worried about is China not being able to buy more. Really, that's their concern, because at the moment the Chinese economy doesn't seem to be growing as much as we thought it was, certainly as much as they were saying it was. So the general worry is that they won't be buying as many commodities as they were before. And as you know, commodities are things that we use to make things and eat things like iron, you know, which is made, steel, oil, all of these things. So these companies that produce these commodities, oil-producing companies, mining companies, those suddenly are looking much cheaper than they were before.
Just very briefly, what prompted all of this? Was it the fact that China's figures were all a bit smoke and mirrors, or is there something more fundamental than that?
Well, I think it's a bit of both, actually. There's been talk for a long time about the figures that China's been giving as being not entirely sure. We've heard about these ghost towns, you know, that China's been doing the same sort of thing as Spain, building lots of buildings, and suddenly you find nobody's living in them, and you know, entire cities empty. So there's been a lot of rumours along that line, and the Chinese government has not been saying anything like as much as people want them to say. And this is really particularly what happened yesterday, because on Friday everybody expected the Chinese government to do something, and they did nothing.
Okay.
Hence a bit of panic.
Okay. Jasmine, many thanks indeed.
Thanks.